What's up YouTube? For today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create an interactive Glassmorphism card on the web using Webflow. So this is the card we're going to create, and whenever you hover it just rotates from all directions and a little bit of light shines on the card like it would on glass in real life. So let's dive into our Webflow project. I have a container with a background image. We'll just drag a div inside that and we'll name this hero card, and we can set a width and a height that we want our card to be right here. So the most important part of this is the glass or background blur effect that we apply to this card. I'll put this code in the description of this video, but drag an HTML embed onto your page and just paste this code inside that embed. Make sure that class name matches whatever name you gave your card, and then you'll see the background is blurred behind it. From there we can add a gradient. So if we scroll down to the background section and hit the plus sign, we'll just add a gradient here. We'll want this white to be either like 10% opacity or completely transparent, and then we'll make the second color also be white, but maybe like 30 or 40%, so we can see a little bit but not too much of the card behind this one. We'll also set the angle so that one of the corners is more shiny than the others, and then we can back down that 0% to where like one of the corners of the card pretty much just doesn't have any white overlaying it, and that's how we'll get that shine effect that we're looking for. From here we can also round out the corners. That part is totally optional, and then we'll add a bit of border here, and we'll make the border white, and we'll back down the opacity to make it more realistic. Now, to make it ultimately realistic, it would be nice to have gradients inside these borders, but with rounded corners, that's not supported on all devices on the web currently. So what we could do is select either the top or the side or one of the borders, and then adjust the opacity of each side of the card border right there, and we can use that to make it a little bit more realistic. Then from there, we just need the content inside the card, so we'll drag in another div. We'll put that inside the card, and we'll call this hero card content. And basically we want this to be 100% width and 100% height, the parent, which is the card itself. And then we'll drag a div inside that content block, and then we'll call this hero card contains, and then this is basically going to contain our logo and such. So this is what will be at the top of the card. We can just drag in maybe our logos here. I'll call this hero card logo and give this a width that I can apply here. Basically just setting the size of it, and then let's drag in our icon, which also needs to be in here, and we'll call this hero card icon. And I'll set a size here. Now we want the icon to be fixed to the right of the card and the logo to be fixed to the left. So with this container selected, what we can do is apply flexbox and basically use this space even or space between option to anchor the logo to the left and the icon to the right. You can also center align this content inside this box, and then we can duplicate it to make two of them. Now the second one we'll want anchored to the bottom of the card, so with the whole content box selected, we can use flexbox again, and it's stacking them side by side. We can switch it to vertical to stack them one under the other, and then we'll use this space between option as well to anchor this one to the bottom. So once we do that, we can really just drag in, maybe I'll drag in this chip that we want to use here, and I can call this hero card chip, and then set a width on it as well. And then we'll also need our credit card number. So for that, I just need to drag in a bit of paragraph text, and I can give this a class. Maybe we call it hero card number. And then from there, we just need to copy a dummy credit card number that I'll put here, and then I'll just paste that into this text here. So that way we have our number applied, and I'll delete this logo. And then maybe we'll select the whole card content div and just add a bit of padding on all sides, so that way this stuff isn't touching the edge. And that appears to be looking okay. I may just adjust the size a little bit. And then one other thing we may want to do, a lot of these Glassmorphism cards either have like some sort of gradient inside these elements, or maybe they'll just turn the opacity down to make it look more real. So I'll select this contains div that we're using in two places, and just turn the opacity down for both of them like that. Maybe I'll use somewhere around 60%, and that's looking pretty good. So the next thing I want to do is add a bit of a dark spot or a shadow on this card, so that way I can move the shadow from left and right. So that way it's overlaying these white pieces and just darkening up some of them. So from there, I'll just drag in a div inside this hero contains. Let's see right here. And for that, all I really want to do, I can name this div maybe hero card shadow. And basically we want to position it absolute like this, and we'll anchor it to the top left of the whole card, and we'll also give it a width and a height that's maybe larger than the card itself. And we can also give it somewhat of a background image, so the background image can actually be a radial gradient like this. And then this dark spot, maybe we'll just use the background color here and back down the opacity somewhere like 50% or something. And then for the light spot, we'll also use our background color but back down the opacity to 0. And again, just move that start point or that stop point back a little, so we're getting a nice circle in the center of this card. That's looking pretty good. I'll also use negative margin to sort of bring the shadow up and over. And you're seeing the shadow is actually sort of overflowing outside of the card itself now. So what we need to do is select this card content and set its overflow to hidden and its position to relative. What that did is it just cropped that gradient inside the card now, so we can drag it outside the card, but we're only going to see it in this piece inside of the card there. I'll also set this to have rounded corners that match the card itself, so that way we're not getting any pieces overflowing. That seems to be working pretty good. So if I were to rotate this card right now, it's not actually going to have any 3D perspective applied to it. It's just going to look very flat, sort of like we're squishing the card, and that's not completely what I want. So if we grab the parent, which is this whole container that's holding the card, under this 2D 3D transforms, we can hit these 3 dots here, and then we can add a bit of child perspective here. So what that's basically going to do is distance the card inside it from its parent container, so that way when we rotate it, we're seeing it being rotated in 3D space. And you'll see it's not looking as flat as it did before, especially if I rotate using 2 options like up and down, left and right. It's giving it a little bit more perspective, which is what we want there. So I'll just set this rotation all back to 0 for now. And the next thing we need to do really is just animate our card based on the mouse position. So I'll grab this whole container here, and then I'll go over to the interaction tab. And I'm just going to create a new interaction. In this case, it will be mouse move over element. And then we can basically do play an animation. We'll create a new one. It's called, I'll call it my moving card. Doesn't really matter what you call it there. And you can see we can move the card based on the mouse's position horizontally or also vertically. So we'll start with the horizontal one first. I'll just select the card itself, and we can apply by clicking here. We can apply a rotate, and let's say we want to rotate the card. Let's rotate it a little bit this way, so maybe we'll do negative 20 degrees, and then when our mouse is all the way on this side, we'll rotate it maybe positive 20 degrees. So if we toggle this little switch to see what our change did, now, if we rotate left and right, you'll see the card is actually being rotated. I want when my mouse is on this corner for the card to be closer to me. When my mouse is on this corner, this end of the card needs to be closer. So I'll actually switch that to where this one's negative 20 and to where the first one is actually positive 20. And now when I preview, whichever end my mouse is closer towards the cursor, then the card is a bit larger on that side. So let's also add a rotate from up and down. So we'll use a vertical rotate here. And then this time we'll use this option, since this is the one that's actually going to rotate it vertically. Maybe we do -6, and then maybe we'll do +6. Let's just see what that does. When we preview, up and down, it's not really changing a whole lot, so I may need to make that a bit more drastic. Let's see. -6, maybe I'll sort of do -12, and then we'll do +12 here and see if that makes it a bit more drastic. So up and down, yeah, it's rotating it just a bit. So now every We can sort of rotate it in all directions like this. And then let's also do, just have it always rotated maybe like 6 degrees or 4 degrees. Yeah, let's have it always just rotate it 4 degrees like this. So that way it has a little bit more of an angle to it. And that appears to be working just fine. So in any direction I move my cursor in, it's sort of rotating it. And then I can also increase the smoothing. So that way, whenever my mouse is moving over the card, the animation has a little bit of a delay to it, and it's a little bit more smooth, especially when I exit the bounds of this card. So let's go ahead and hit this preview icon up here to test it all out. You'll see right from the get-go, our card's rotated on the right angle. It's looking great. And then as I move my cursor left and right, up and down, it's rotating from all these different directions. The only other thing we need to do is move the shadow inside the card. So if we open our interaction back up, and this time instead we select maybe this whole shadow here, what we can do is select a move here, and by default we'll just move it 0. We won't move it at all, so it'll stay in the position it was in. And then for this second point here, we'll move it over a good bit. So that way this darker point is being moved closer to our icon over here, towards the right of the screen. And let's just preview that. So now, as my cursor moves, you'll see the dark point is also moving from left and right. So the card's getting a little bit of shadow on it. I actually might want to switch that to the opposite direction, because right now the shadow's following my cursor. And I don't want that to happen. So I'll start this one at 0, and then I'll move this one to 37. Let's preview that again. And now the shadow is actually moving away from my cursor. So whichever end my cursor gravitates toward gets brighter, and it gets closer to the screen, which is what I want here. That's looking really good. So I may just move the shadow up a little bit, because I don't want that center dark part to be like too obvious. So I'll use a little bit more negative top margin here, and I may just preview that and see how it looks. So you see my shadow's clearly on one side. I move, the shadow's moving to the other side, that side gets brighter. And then we can also play with how much of a, how much under this parent container here, we can play with how much of a perspective we want here. So maybe if I switch this closer to 8,000 instead of 5,000, it'll look a little bit more 3D and a little more realistic. That seems to be working pretty good there. Yeah, it doesn't have to be too extreme, just a subtle rotate from left and right as we're moving over this card. And we're seeing it like interact with the background, interact with the shadow. Everything's looking pretty 3D, interacting in real space. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you're interested in learning how to make other interactions just like this one, definitely hit that subscribe button right below this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.